who weren't able to be here live. Wonderful. So welcome everyone. My name is Stephanie Den Hollander, and I am the program coordinator with our Entrepreneurs with Disabilities program here at Community Futures in Manitoba and Saskatchewan. I'm also happy to introduce and welcome Susan Bader. She is our program manager. So Susan is going to be joining into some of the conversations and adding more information, but also helping to just navigate any questions in the chat or any accommodations. So if anyone wants to enable closed captioning so that you have transcript while we are speaking, please feel free to do so. I will also be sending out the copy of the recording afterwards so that you can rewatch any information. You can pass it along to other people in your network who might be interested in learning more about loans through Community Futures and other options, as well as our services. And also any of the information that we share in the presentation, I will include the links and documents and everything in follow-up. So you can make notes and take screenshots, but also not to worry, I will be sending out all the links and everything that we share after the webinar. So I will start with land acknowledgement. I am joining you today from Manitoba and want to acknowledge that I am on ancestral lands, Treaty 1 territory, traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and on the national homeland of the Red River Métis. I want to acknowledge for anyone joining us from Saskatchewan today, you have joined us on your treaty territory, and we also acknowledge traditional homeland of the Métis and honor their contributions. So if you wouldn't mind, just while I'm getting started, if you want to just post in the chat where you're from, where you're joining us from today, and maybe what you're most interested in learning about or what brought you to register for this webinar, that would be great. Okay. We'll get going with our slideshow here. Welcome everyone just joining us. Happy to have you here. Okay. So welcome. We are going to be talking today about our Entrepreneurs with Disabilities program at Community Futures in Manitoba and Saskatchewan. Our focus is to help all entrepreneurs managing a health issue. So we will talk more about that and what that all means and involves. But we like to just showcase a few of the entrepreneurs and their businesses who we've supported over the years. We have Bruce in North Battleford, Saskatchewan. We have Vanessa Savage, Tisdale Florist in Saskatchewan. Michelle Jansen with her signature cakes and cookies in Waldheim, Saskatchewan. And a few in Manitoba. We have Kaylee with Educom, Jeff with JB Small Engine, Laura with Nickels and Dimes Money Mentoring. So Community Futures, if you're not familiar and you're just learning about the work that we do, we are delivered by 267 independent nonprofits across rural Canada. And our Entrepreneurs with Disabilities program is in 90 offices in rural and 6 urban offices. So in Saskatchewan, we have 13 Community Futures offices. So you can see the map here of the different regions and the office locations for the entrepreneurs that they support in their region. And in Manitoba, we have 16 offices. And you can see here on the map where each of those offices is located and where the region that they cover. So depending on where you're living, we would definitely connect you to the office that is in your region so that you're working with an office who is familiar with your region, your demographics, and also will be there to support you in launching and growing your business, depending on what type of services and support you're looking for. Each office is managed by a volunteer board of directors, and then there is a staff team providing direct support to entrepreneurs and the local community and economy. So our services in our Entrepreneurs with Disabilities program, or the EDP program, as we call it for short, we offer a one-to-one business consultation, support for business plan development. We've got lots of great tools and resources available to help with that business plan development that we'll talk a little bit about as well. Lots of business resources and training and access to repayable loans for viable businesses. So that is the main focus of what we're talking about today in this webinar, is to help share information about, what does it take to access a loan? If you're looking for a loan funding for your business, whether it be a micro loan, which might be, $5,000, $10,000, or even up to $150,000 is what we have available through Community Futures. So when you're thinking about a business loan, when do you need to borrow money? It depends on what type of business you're opening. If you're opening a large business, essentially you likely need money right off the hop to even start with some of your startup costs. If you're needing a location, if you're having to do renovations, if you need to purchase major large equipment items or inventory, that might be something, the timeline that you're looking for a business loan would be very early on. Whereas other business models, you might be maybe offering a service or, a consultation. So maybe there's not a lot of overhead or startup costs involved with that you might be able to cover some of those costs initially and start your business operations. And then as your business grows, then you might be looking to borrow money. So, and how much money do you need? That's a great thing to think about. Maybe and you've already done some of those numbers and calculations for your startup costs, or maybe you don't even know where to start. So some of the things to consider would be, well, what are the things that you would need to purchase and prepare for in order to launch your business? So thinking about equipment, supplies, inventory. Where is your location going to be? Is it going to be a home-based business? Are you going to have a storefront? What all is involved in that, and calculating both those initial startup costs, but then what are those monthly expenses going to be? Thinking about insurance, rent, utilities. Are you going to be hiring staff and having salaries and wages, or is it just going to be you operating your business? Figuring out all of those things. And we've got great tools at Community Futures to help you with your cash flow and gather all of that information so that you can do some of those projections and play with your numbers with our business analysts who that's their area of expertise. They work with you to understand your business, to share information with you, help you explore those things and put those numbers together. And then you can look at, of the different scenarios and what your focus is and your phase launch or the growth of your business. If you're planning to apply for a loan to, expand your business, that's also something that's very common as well. Looking at, are you making money? What are your profit margins and any of those adjustments you can have? So that cash flow projection really helps with that. And then you want to look at equity. So what is equity and why is it important? So a lot of times when we're thinking about equity, people just think, direct cash assets that I have to put on the line or towards my business, but also consider other things. Like if you've already been maybe doing your business as a hobby or a bit of a side hustle, you've likely already invested a lot of personal funds into supplies and equipment, tools. Maybe you've got some inventory on hand. And those are all things that are an equity already of your business. So that's part of the value that your business already holds. And also the hard work that you've put into your business. We call that sweat equity. So it's important to consider. It's a very broad, lens of what equity you could have in your business. And sometimes you can overlook what you've already put in to the value of your business and contributed as equity and how it would be viewed when you're applying for a business loan, right? So then we have the 5 C's of credit. So when we're looking at a loan application and things to consider, these are the kind of 5 main areas when exploring credit. So at Community Futures, it's not just about your credit score. These are the areas that we're looking at. First is, capacity. So will there be enough profit from the business to be able to make the loan payments? Can you pay the operating expenses, paying wages, all of those things? So basically, does the business model have the capacity to pay for itself and also all of the expenses? And all, who will be running the business? So not only, financial capacity, but also the capacity of the business owner and what the staffing component will look like as well. Then we'll look at character. So that's really personal references, employment references, credit reference. What is the commitment of the business owner? and what they're bringing to the business. And is there that long-term commitment and the skill set and the knowledge is there and the motivation there? So a lot of those character elements are looked at. What skills and experience are necessary for the business? And does the person have some or most of them? Or they've been attending training to hone in their skills to become a business owner if they're brand new to being an entrepreneur? Or are they a seasoned entrepreneur and they're able to speak to their past experience and what they're bringing to their new business? Then we're looking
Stephanie,
at, yes,
maybe I'll just add a bit more about character. So,
yes.
community futures are not a traditional lender like a bank or credit union. So that character piece is a bigger part of making that decision. So one of the things that Stephanie's going to talk about later is that often when you're doing an application, you're going to include a resume. But in that resume, we're also looking at your volunteer work. We all come from small towns and communities. Were you a soccer coach? Did you get roped into being a treasurer for the hockey team for a season? What are those kinds of character pieces? How are you part of the community? And that's what we're going to be looking at there. So, and we'll go into it further later, but as Stephanie mentioned earlier, all of our organizations are run by volunteers. And those volunteers are representatives and community members. So, of those volunteers, there's a loan committee, and that's a smaller committee of those volunteers that come together. Most of these folks are also volunteers in their community because we all know in rural communities there's not enough volunteers, so everybody wears lots of hats. And then as well, they're often business owners or town council members, reeves, mayors, those kinds of things. So they know the community well, and that's where that character piece comes in. Because it may be that three of the members are like, wow, I don't know this person. The other person says, oh, you know what? I see them at the arena all the time. And don't you know they're on the Rotary Club? Like they were the best volunteer we had. So those are the pieces and elements that they bring. So when we talk about character, especially in a rural community and a northern community, it is that bigger character. It's how are they part of the community, and how are they giving back?
Yeah, thanks so much for highlighting that, Susan. And I agree, it is one of because we're supporting entrepreneurs in rural regions, there are unique qualities and features and things to highlight in each different rural region. And so that's why it's great that the focus is not like a traditional lender where it's just, numbers on an application form. There are all these other elements that are so important also to bringing new businesses and supporting the community based on the needs of each community in the region with and for people who live and work in that region as well. So it's amazing. Yeah. So when we look at collateral, those are things, of course, that are assets that are available to help secure the loan. So what is the realistic value of the assets? If they have to be sold to help pay off the debt, right? Are there assets free from other liens? All of those things need to be verified. And then, what your personal net worth is. So there's lots of things. And those might be some of the supporting documents that accompany your application as well, that they might ask of you through the Community Futures office. But of course, each individual situation, the type of business that you're looking to start, the amount of the loan that you're looking to borrow, those are all different factors that would, everyone's journey will be a little bit individual in that, what they're going to be requesting of you might be different based on those factors. And then for capital, we're really looking at, do you have any cash to contribute to invest personally into your business? Looking at other lending options. Are you looking at, a co-loan with another organization or lender? Knowing that the risk of the business and how that risk will be shared is all part of that application and review process. And so, and then conditions are, looking at the individual factors of the business, the region. What are the social conditions of the area? What are the population? What's the population? What are the demographics? What are the economic conditions? Because that can vary greatly from region to region, not just province to province. Are there lots of jobs available or high unemployment rate? What are some of the trends going on in the region in terms of conditions in the employment business community, economic community, and also consideration of any laws or regulations that might affect the business in terms of timeline to open, in terms of requirements, ability to be operational in that area. Those are factors that need to be considered as well. So that's kind of what we're looking at under conditions in 5Cs of credit. And of course, at any time, if anyone has questions, you can pop it into the chat. Susan will help answer some of those, but we're going to have time at the end of our presentation for just a question and answer and discussion period. So we will be leaving time for that at the end, because I know based on your individual circumstances and why you're here today, will be helpful to answer any of those questions and help direct you to your local community features office team. So some other tips for the application process is just to be prepared for some questions. Like Susan mentioned, there is a volunteer board. There's going to be a loan application committee who their specific role is to review loan applications that come in and be prepared for them to come back with questions. That's just an opportunity for them to learn more, to really dig deep into your business and maybe some things that you hadn't thought of and their expertise and what they're looking for, based on those 5Cs and their expertise. Please complete the entire application. It does happen sometimes where people will leave parts out because maybe you didn't understand part of a question or what they were asking for. So if you're unsure about something or you don't know what to include, it's always great to ask so that you can complete the entire application and submit it fully, because that will help move forward the application process more quickly. Because as you understand, with a volunteer board of directors and a committee review process, the timeline can be a little bit longer once you submit your application until it's reviewed and any back and forth questions discussion before you actually get your approval response. Provide all of the requested documents. So based on your individual business circumstance, whatever they might be looking for, particularly in terms of documentation and information, both personally, demographically, please ensure you provide all of that. It helps move things along more quickly for you. And then know your business plan. So we will talk about some options and resources and tools we have to help you develop that business plan if you don't already have one. It can be an overwhelming process when people think of a business plan and you learn about it and you look at the document, but the template that we have available really helps to break it down into bite-sized, manageable sections. So once you just work on section by section, then you can compile it all into a nice formal business plan. And so it helps it to not feel so overwhelming. But it's important to know your business plan. That is really how you showcase and highlight the life of your business, your long-term plans, and it can be that living document that helps guide your business along the way and is so beneficial in so many areas, not just for a loan application. Because sometimes people think you only need to do a business plan if you're applying for a business loan, but we recommend it for everyone starting a business, even if you're not looking for a loan. And then be honest and transparent. Again, knowing that you're in a rural area and applying for loans, people know information. Trying to hide information on your loan application or not being fully open and transparent, it could potentially work against you if someone knows something otherwise. It's just really important to always be honest and transparent, and that really sets the stage for your positive and professional reputation as a business owner in your community and in your region. So right from that application process, that's something important for you to be aware of. So where to get funding? So of course, you've got traditional lenders. So those are banks and credit unions. They will have their own specific application process and requirements, of course. And then we have what's called developmental lenders. So if you haven't heard of that term before, that is kind of the difference that Susan talked about, right? From a traditional bank or credit union to developmental lenders, we have maybe different criteria. We're looking at, more of an enriched application process, looking at those 5Cs of credit and lots of different factors in that application and review process. But also that the goal is to help build and develop communities and regions, right? So we are a nonprofit organization and we're investing in local businesses as community futures, right? So Community Futures is considered a developmental lender. There are also other options for developmental lenders. We have Futurepreneur Canada, First Peoples Economic Development Fund, Farm Credit Canada, or FCC, as it's you're most familiar with likely, Business Development Bank of Canada, or BDC, as you're likely familiar with. And so those are federal programs. And then we also have Manitoba specific. So if you're living in Manitoba, there is WeMB, and that is a women's, entrepreneur support network and organization supporting women as business owners. And then we have Louis Riel Capital Corporation and Manitoba Métis Economic Development Fund. And if you're in Saskatchewan, some Saskatchewan provincial specific opportunities are West. So that's for women entrepreneurs as well. We have the Clarence Campo Development Fund for Métis entrepreneurs, and then SEAF, which is Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation. So just depending on, where you're from, what you're looking for, finding the best fit in terms of opportunities. And sometimes, people will have a loan through Community Futures and also a loan through WESC. And so there is that opportunity for, collab a loan share so that you have two loans working together to maximize on the services and the supports available to you. So it just really would depend on your individual situation. One thing we often get a lot of questions about are grants. People are always calling and looking for grant opportunities. So there are grants available. There is a Canadian grant listing, but it depends on, there really can tend to be niche specific, depending on the type of business, the work that you're doing. So there can be grants available. The application process is often quite lengthy and overwhelming. Some people find it's a lot of work to be applying for grants. But we do, when we are aware of grants available, we definitely send them out to people. We provide the information. We do have some in-house grants, so some micro grants. We also have an EDP grant for $750 for business mentorship or digital marketing, which usually every year, and this year it's fully allocated. Within the first couple weeks of the new fiscal year, we were entirely full and have a wait list for that grant program. So the need is definitely there, and we're always looking for innovative ways to be able to offer more enriched services and supports for people through that grant program. So definitely, but again, it is quite time consuming. So if you're looking for grants and especially if you have a specific industry that you're working within, sometimes there are more grants available.
One
Susan, do you
thing
have something to add about
Yeah, I
grants?
just wanted to give a warning. So online, there is a booklet that people sell for $500 usually, or somewhere around there for grants. All of that information is available for free. You should never have to pay for business information. You're already paying for business information in your taxes. So if somebody's offering you something that they're saying you have to pay for, then they're not being transparent, because there's not a lot of grants. There's very few, and if they are available, they're searchable online through the regular Google or through the Canada government. So you should never have to pay for grant information. So just a warning.
Oh, great point. I wasn't aware of that, but I guess there's no end to sometimes the scams that can come up, right? Thanks, Susan. So that was some information when you're looking for financing and lending. Now it's general information because, like I say, you'll have a very individualized experience through exploring business lending for yourself and your business based on your individual circumstances. So certainly we recommend you can reach out to me after the session today via email. We can set up a time to chat, and I'll definitely connect you with your local community futures office, because that's going to be where you're going to get very specific information and next steps to be able to move forward if you're looking for a business loan through community futures, or if you just want some business advice and resources. That's what we're here for too. So lots of things to do and think about when you're starting a business. So that's why we have so many resources and supports available. So just to highlight a few, we have our business support. So that's you're working with our Community Futures staff to plan and launch your business or the growth expansion of your business and receive ongoing business aftercare. So we are not just here for those people as they're starting and launching their business. We are here for the life of your business. Anytime you have questions, you need information, maybe you want to pivot and change something in terms of your business model, or you're looking to start exporting and you need some resources on that, then we're available anytime that you need us for the life of your business. We support people with business plan development. We have our great business plan workbook, which is that template that I mentioned to really help you organize your ideas in all the different various areas of business development. We have a really helpful startup checklist, which is a 10-step guide to help you plan to start your business. I'm going to send you all the links to everything in our follow-up email. Then we have our business training. So our Build a Better Business online business program is a 10 module self-directed online business training program. It's free. All you do is you sign up, you create an account for yourself, and you log in. There are 10 modules giving a fantastic, solid foundation of Business 101. So, whether you're brand new to business and being an entrepreneur, that's the best place to start. Or maybe you're a seasoned entrepreneur, you've started your business, but you're really realizing you might benefit from some enhanced knowledge and training in specific areas. So, you can choose to either complete all 10 modules if you really want that full broad spectrum foundation of business knowledge, or if you really just want to hone in on a couple of the areas, maybe basic bookkeeping or branding and marketing, so you can level up your skills in those areas. You can target your learning based on what you need. So it's an amazing program. Each module has a video that you watch, and then there's a manual and a workbook that goes with it. And if you complete the quiz at the end of each module, you get a certificate as well, which would be great. And if you're applying for a loan, I would say that it does look favorable under our 5 C's in terms of motivation and your commitment to your business, that you have engaged and participated in some business training really will strengthen both your skills and your knowledge as you step into your business to help you be successful, but it also reflects, your dedication to your business and your plan for success. We also have lots of training opportunities through our various Community Futures offices across both provinces. So to learn more about upcoming training and events, follow your local office on social media. Most have Facebook pages, Instagram pages, as well as on our website. I'll show you both for Community Futures Manitoba and Saskatchewan. There is a training and event page where all of those listings are available with the links where you can register and get more info. And then specific to our Entrepreneurs with Disabilities Health program, we have individualized support for any entrepreneur who's living with a disability or a health condition. So we sometimes receive, funding for special projects like our Business Builder program, which was funded by the federal government for 3 years to support 60 entrepreneurs across both provinces to start or grow their businesses with lots of enriched supports. We have our 750 grant programs, but also Susan and I, in our role as the EDP program manager and coordinator, we support all 29 of the offices across Manitoba and Saskatchewan to help the business teams in those offices so that we can provide any resources and support based on an entrepreneur's individual needs if they are living with a disability or a health condition. So we come alongside and offer that additional support as needed. Self-employment is a great option for people who are living with a disability or a health condition because it offers flexibility for hours, number of hours you work, the hours in a day that you work, the type of work that you're doing, and you can really hone in on making it work for you versus trying to fit into a role that maybe isn't easily accommodated by an employer or hours of work, those kinds of things, and offering that flexibility to manage your health. And when we look at a disability or a health condition, we don't require lengthy medical documents or anything like that. It really is just a checkbox, a self declaration that you are a rural entrepreneur living with a disability or a health condition. And that what you share with us is the more that we know about you, the more we can learn, the better able we are to offer resources and support through a really positive lens to help you be successful in your self-employment endeavor, whether that be starting a small hobby business, a side hustle, part-time, or a full-time business. And the definition of disability or health condition is very broad. It could be someone living with asthma, a cancer survivor, could be ADHD, anxiety, depression, being a wheelchair user, living with hearing loss, having a vision loss. So, whatever you might consider as something you wake up in the morning and you need to manage for your health and your access to work and life and your daily routines, if you need to do anything to manage that, then you can consider that you would qualify for our services. So here are just the business startup checklists that I mentioned that we have available and our business plan workbook. So great, helpful tools and resources to get you started. And this is the Build a Better Business program. Those are those 10 learning modules self-directed online. These are the different module topics. So it's nice to highlight that. You start with business startup, learning all of those things that you need to do from registering your business, considering, legal, what type of business model you'll be, are you going to incorporate or be a sole proprietor, what that looks like. And then moving into business planning, credit and financing, pricing and cash flow, branding and marketing, taxes and other fees, financial statements, bookkeeping basics, because everybody loves doing their books for their business, right? That's a really helpful module. Legal and insurance things to consider, and then human resources if you will be having staff. So they are specific to provincial regulations and guidelines as well. So please make sure, here are the website links. I will provide it in the follow-up email as well, but please make sure that you sign up for the training on the site for the province that you will be living and operating your business in. So if you live in Saskatchewan, then make sure you're enrolling on the training in Saskatchewan site because it will contain Saskatchewan specific provincial regulation information. Same thing for Manitoba. So just make sure you're signing up according to where you'll be operating your business. Here are our event calendars. You can visit our provincial page, a website, so cfmanitoba.ca, and then there's a training and events calendar. cfsask.ca has a training and events calendar, and you'll see here each month goes through, some regular ongoing trainings and then just some time to time one-off events and different things going on. Oftentimes our training opportunities are free or are very low cost. So they're affordable and accessible for entrepreneurs, especially small business owners. It's helpful that you can have access to free or low cost training and support. We have a partnership with CRA and their liaison officer team. So we do offer monthly webinars providing information that's really helpful from CRA for small business owners. So this is the one for November coming up. That is Introduction to GST HST for Small Business. So it is through Eventbrite, so you can look that up there, or we'll have the link. I'll send this out in our follow-up email as well, so you can register for that. And please share it with other people you know in your network who might find that helpful. So in our Entrepreneurs with Disabilities program, I love this quote because it really just highlights the work that we do and why we're here to support people. Rachel says, don't let your health concerns get in the way of fulfilling your dreams. And that's so true. The goal of our program through EDP with Community Futures is that we're coming alongside you as the entrepreneur and our Community Futures team to help reduce or eliminate any barriers to you achieving your self-employment goals, and also just some resources that might be helpful for life and relationships and within your community. So we like to share a couple of examples of entrepreneurs and kind of just that storytelling that helps you envision what it could look like for how we support people in creating these opportunities for them and their business. So this is Cassie. She's a creative person with a flair for making TikTok reels and social media posts. She's had some work experiences in school, but hasn't held a job yet. She's helped a few friends and family members with their business pages. She's excited to try to develop this into a home-based business. And she's looking to apply for a loan to purchase some equipment, some software programs so that she can start up. She's ready to develop her formal business plan and eventually launch her business by the end of 2024. So there's a wonderful self-employment opportunity for Cassie. That's a great fit for her and her health condition. Great impact on the community, helping other business owners with their social media and marketing, such a high demand for that service. And then positive economic impact in her region that she's offering this service to local businesses and bringing a new business to her community. Here we have Brent. Brent is a mechanic with 10 years experience. Running his own business gives him better control of his working hours to manage his health condition. He's ready to expand his business and plans to build a bigger shop with more storage. Community Futures can help review his financials, assist with updating his business plan so he can seek financing, and may provide assistance on referrals to disability and health related organizations that might also assist him. Great opportunity for Brent to continue in self employment because that works well for him in managing his health condition. Great impact on the community. Everybody needs a good mechanic in their community as well. And then positive impact on our economy. Bringing a new business, growing a business in the region is a wonderful opportunity. So to stay connected, we are on Facebook and Instagram. So check out our pages, follow us. We'll post opportunities, training, just inspirational posts and some of the things that we're up to in our program. So it's great to stay connected to us in that way, as well as to find the local Community Futures office in your region so that you stay connected and in touch with what they have going on. So what's next? So if you're an entrepreneur looking for support to start your business in an urban location, because again, we are across Manitoba and Saskatchewan, but Community Futures in our EDP program, we operate in rural regions. So anywhere outside of Winnipeg, if you're in Manitoba, and anywhere outside of Regina and Saskatoon if you're in Saskatchewan. So if you live and you want to operate or you are operating a business in an urban location, so either Winnipeg or Regina and Saskatoon, there are EDP services available to you in both Winnipeg and Regina, Saskatoon. The links are here, as well as we have Rise Winnipeg through CMHA is a mental health focused entrepreneur support program. And so I'll provide those links in the follow-up email as well so that you're connected to the right resource and support based on where you live and operate your business. So here we have our website information, Susan's email address, my email address, and you have that from the email this morning and you'll have it in the follow-up as well. Please reach out. What we often say is the opportunities start when we have those courageous conversations. So if you have questions, if you're unsure, if you just need support and information, or you want to talk through some of your ideas, please reach out because that connection is often what sparks those next steps and for you to be empowered to move forward with your vision for your dream business and what possibilities there are. And as an entrepreneur, and it can feel lonely and isolating, but just know that there are lots of supports available to you and you're not meant to walk the entrepreneurial journey alone. There are people here to support you, empower you, and to help you along the way with resources and lots of support. So please don't hesitate to reach out. That's what we're here for. And that's what brings me the most joy in my job is having the connections and conversations with all of you. So I do welcome you to reach out to me for sure, and to Susan as well. So we can open it up now for questions and discussion. I'll just stop sharing so I can see. Perfect. Awesome. So Susan, were there any questions in the chat that we wanted to talk about?
No questions in the chat yet, but we're definitely open to answer questions. Or if you have a scenario, sometimes people say, well, what about this? Would that work? We're open for all those conversations. So feel free to put your mic on or write in the chat, whatever works for you.
Great. Well, we must have provided an overwhelming amount of information. The wheels are still turning. So if you're a service provider and you're working with clients who might be looking to start their business, please feel free to do an introductory email and connect us with them so we can start those conversations. So I see we have Daniel here from Neil Squire. We have Tatiana here from Vision Loss Rehabilitation in Winnipeg. So that's wonderful, right? Because you can use what you've learned today and start those conversations with your clients and then make some connections with us. So that would be wonderful. And if anyone has any questions, please just let us know and we'll go from there. We're happy to come alongside and offer any support and resources that we can.
Thanks, Daniel. I got a quick question. Is there a age? What is the age range?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we will help with youth. So definitely in business development. So that can be, we've had youth as young as 7. And then there is no upper age. So basically everybody and anybody. It just comes to the loan documentation. So for example, sometimes you do need to be an adult to sign that. So it would be a parent if you're under 18 to sign that loan documentation. But sometimes folks will come to us and they don't need a loan, right? Or they just need a small loan. So we may have somebody that, for example, is doing lawn mowing and all of a sudden they get a contract that's a few street over. So they might just now suddenly need a trailer. So it might be a $500 purchase. They may be paying that back by the end of the summer. It's fairly quick. So it just kind of depends on what somebody needs. But definitely we can support all ages.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Daniel. We had a note here from Irene. Thanks, Irene. You're looking for federal grants for Indigenous persons and or 60 plus. Yes, so we do. There is an Indigenous Women Entrepreneur Program and our Indigenous Business Development Services. So I can send you that information as well so that you can connect with our Indigenous Business Services Coordinator and see some opportunities there that might be available to you.
Yeah, we're not seeing a lot of grants right now for 60 plus, but definitely Indigenous. There are some options within their programming, especially some of the other programming that we can connect you to. And that's the other thing, we kind of say no wrong door. So if you're not sure and you saw the list of programs, you're like, wow, where do I start? Just start with that first email, that first call, and then we'll guide you to where the best program is because we want you to be as successful as possible. And if we're not the best program, that's okay. We'll send you to where you can find the best help and the best programming of where you are right now.
Great. Wonderful. Well, we're so grateful that you were able to join us this morning. Please feel free to reach out. Once I have the recording uploaded, I'll send that follow-up email with all the links. And so just let me know if there's anything else that we can be helpful with, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much. Have a good day.